Ooh.
And we are live. Somebody please send a hi and a hello so that we know that the live is on. And today we are going to talk about the thing that writers hate to talk about: sales, advertising, and marketing. And there you go, strategizing a sales plan for your books. My guest today is Anisha Brahma, the author of oh so many books and so many more yet to come. Welcome to the live, Anisha. And someone please send a hi so that I know LinkedIn has connected.
Hello.
Take it over,
Thank you for
Anisha.
having me. And
Please tell us
apologies on
about your
running
lovely
late.
books.
Yes,
It
before we
was my
start, I would
fault.
like to apologize for, well, if it was not Vinati's fault. I was also doing maths. That takes a while.
Also, because I was stuck in traffic and I literally couldn't go live from the traffic. Otherwise, you'd all be like, what is this cacophony of sounds that is going on in your background? And I'd have to go every day, every single day of life in urban India. Hello,
Oh, I see
hello.
someone has written, hi, how are you?
Yes, hello Diego. I hope I'm not wrong with how I pronounced your name. He's from Brazil. I'm from India. So is Anisha. Welcome to the live. And we will be talking about sales and marketing strategies for books. So if anyone has any questions, please feel free to put those in the comments and we'd love to address them as we move on. So let's start with the very, very obvious thing, Anisha, which is that just like how a witch utters a curse, every writer I have encountered feels like they have been cursed by having to conduct sales for their own book, having to like go and show up to promotional events. They're like, oh, my life kharab ho gaya. When literally done to sell their book, right? I am criticizing this, but I also do this. When you ask me to promote myself, I'll be like, "No, I'm too shy. I won't do it." So one of the first points I think we'll be discussing is that sales and marketing and advertising is not a bad word. So if you
Hmm.
feel that, stop feeling that. Take it over, Anisha.
All right. So I will start by saying that I started my career where I was promoting other people's books because I used to be a content strategist for a publishing house. And then I am fully, right now, my day job is that of an advertising. So it's kind of best of both worlds. And I think my personal breakthrough happened when I was like, "Itna, at the risk of getting into trouble, if not 30 products, if I can sell, why can't I sell good stuff?" And the other thing that happens, I've figured, is it's a little mental for us because we go, oh my God, what if people judge us? Or what if people think that, this person only talks about her books? But we need to understand that social media is basically a marketing tool. You exist over there to sell your products. Unless and of course it's a personal page and you just want to show pictures of yourself and your family, that's different. But if you're there as a public figure, one, you need to go back ekdam beginning mein and figure out that the book that you're writing, who is it for, who are you writing for, even before you write the very first word of your very first draft. Plot दिमाग में आया ना, the first thing you should ask yourself is, who is this book for? TG set ho jayega is when you understand that, okay, this is for teenagers, or this is for young adults, this is for adults, this is for older people.
TG is
Yes.
target audience, target
Oh, I'm so
demographic.
sorry.
I do this too. And because I was on the listening side, I was like, let's tell people, the person that you ideally imagine to be your reader, right? That is the TD, target demographic. Carry on.
Okay. So for I can give you examples of myself and Binati, right? Binati mostly deals in non-fiction. So for her audience would hang out in LinkedIn. For me, I write a lot of young adult, new adult, and children's fiction. Most of these children are hanging out at Instagram. So that is why I am way more active on Instagram. So once you figure out where your readers are hanging out is where you realize where you should focus on. Like if you try and do marketing every single place, you're going to go crazy. So our advice would be, pick one place and let's start marketing your book exclusively in that place.
Also, to reiterate the main point, right? Sales, marketing, and advertising aren't curses, they are boons. How you turn them from a curse into a boon is instead of making marketing and sales strategizing and advertising into a chore, because you are trying to literally throw as a your full hand is full of darts and you are trying to hit the bullseye. Obviously, that's not going to happen. You have to do it one by one, right? For you to have better chances. So figure out what your bullseye is. Here, that is, as Anisha rightly explained, the target demographic. Then figure out where your target demographic is hanging out. And that is how you turn your curse into a boon, right? Figure out where your people are hanging out, figure out how they talk to each other. Like literally, I was part of like a very young group today from where I was, from where I got late returning to. And none of the kids were on Instagram. Anisha, they are all on Snapchat now.
Yep.
And it's see because I am 30, I am almost 30, I'm 29, and Anisha is also around 30, so we
Yes.
won't know what 13-year-olds are doing, right? So if I write a middle grade book, or if I write a new adult book, or if I write a young adult book, and I'm figuring out where I have to market it, और मेरे को पता ही नहीं है कि ये बच्चे Snapchat पे हैं, तो my entire marketing is happening on Instagram and my entire audience is on Snapchat. This
Hmm.
should not happen. This is when it becomes a curse. This is when you become that annoying person that keeps saying the same things again and again to low or no results, right? Instead, if you do it on the right channel, then it will turn into a bowl. So, absolutely, totally with you on that one, Anisha. That, yes. Anything else you have to add on
Yeah,
this?
okay. Over here, we are going to put an asterisk and also say that when you write for kids, absolute kids, children don't have purchasing power. Then you target their parents. So you have to figure out where are their parents hanging out.
Yes.
Because 3 साल का बच्चा is not going to be on, they will be on their phone, but they are not going to say that this book is good, mama, get me this book. Like, this is a conversation I
Yes.
recently had with a children's author as well, saying that if your target audience does not have, not pocket money, does not have the purchasing power or the decision to buy books, you need to target the parents. So then again, the question comes, where are the parents hanging out? Like, what kind of books are you writing? Like, is it, to teach children things, or if it's just fiction, or is it non-fiction? Because parenting books, again, that would become non-fiction, obviously, parenting books. And that, if I'm not wrong, then Facebook would be your place to go. All the mommy groups on Facebook. Oh, I'm wrong.
WhatsApp. WhatsApp.
I forgot
They
about what.
they are all on WhatsApp. Get a WhatsApp business account. Business account allows you to do those message blasts, right? And then get them where they hang out. That's it. It's about figuring out where a specific group hangs out and then going, excuse me, will you buy my book? And chances are they will, because everyone is ultimately aspiring to read a book, right? If you look at the New Year resolutions that people have, most common one is get healthy, wake up early in the morning. And then close third or close fourth always is learn something new or read more. ये दोनों ऐसे आगे पीछे करते रहते हैं. So this is something that people aspire to. Make it easy for people to find you, right? Most of the times, I think what happens is people don't really realize you have had a book out. Like, I haven't really had a book out, but there was a collaborative fun exercise that we did during the coronavirus lockdowns that I think you are aware of. Two very
Yes.
random books that we wrote out of the common human experience, and people loved that. Uh, the writing process, but then we did zero marketing for it. And when I tell people, हाँ लिखी तो है दो, मतलब मैंने कुछ ज्यादा नहीं लिखा अंदर, but I've done it, they're like, oh, you have written a book. That's because I never marketed it, right? So please make it easy for people to find your stuff. That is very, very common basic advice, but oftentimes we forget it because these little things we take for granted are what ultimately come and bite us in the bum bum. So, yeah, let's move on to the next point then, or anything else to add.
No, I think we covered everything. So the first
Okay.
point, basically, to sum it up, is figure out who your TG is and where they are hanging out.
Yes, absolutely. Also, this is when I tell you that there's a link in the comments. If you wish to book Anisha for getting a sales strategy call, planning, whatever done, or talk it out, talk about your book the way that it needs to be talked about, please feel free to click on the link and book a call with her. She'll guide you specifically. Moving to the next point, which is about sales strategies and when they should begin, when they should pick up steam, and when they should end. Should they end? Um,
There is a strategy. Like, we'll come to that. Sorry, there's a formula. We'll come to that.
Go
And
ahead, please
before
tell us.
I start, talking all about this, I would like to thank a few people because I've been in the publishing industry for the last 10 years, and everything that I've learned has been from Devdatta Di, who Devdatta Dasgupta. She is the owner of book reviews. She is fantastic. I literally watched her grow her business, and Abhi, she doesn't take any more requests because she has too much of work. She's that popular. I did a lot of courses on Reedsy, so a lot of things that I am going to talk about has come from there. And I will also be quoting my friend Shilpa Suraj. She is one of the top Kindle authors right now, so we will also talk about that. So, okay, coming back to the sales strategy thing, is once you figured out your TG and you have written your book and you know where your readers are hanging out, is when we decide, is it going to be self-publishing, or is it hello, is it going to be traditionally published? Because where your marketplace is determines a lot of your marketing plan and your marketing strategy.
Okay, completely in agreement with you about this one. Also, hello Asad, Kage Bunshin no Jutsu for you. Anywho, moving on. I think this is probably where we maybe have a difference on opinion in terms of fiction versus non-fiction, right?
Yeah.
Because if fiction people are marketing their books from the very beginning, I think they'll end up revealing their entire story by the time the book actually comes out. Whereas with non-fiction, right, with non-fiction, what we have is generally we advise people for sales, like on to the point that Anisha made कि what type of book you are writing, what type of publishing you are trying to target. That will determine at what point your sales strategy begins. So if you're doing a non-fiction, ideally a traditionally published non-fiction or a hybrid published non-fiction where you are sending out hardcover books, paperback books, and ebooks, right? All of them simultaneously. Then your sales strategies should kind of begin along with you writing your book because ideally you want people to know about your main idea in advance. Okay, the main idea is what will sell your book. If I am writing a book on say writing, okay, and nobody knows me for writing because I haven't created any informational content around writing, chances are people will not pick up my book when I start marketing it the way that I want it to because I didn't prepare them for my main idea, right? I didn't test the markets and the waters with the main idea. So, one thing that we advise for non-fiction books is start testing the market before you even start writing the book because if there's no interest about the topic, right? Instead of you putting in a lot of hours on a specific topic, you can tweak the topic, right? So we advise that writing the book and creating content around the book should begin simultaneously. And a great example that we can track right now could be Ali Abdal. His book is
Mm.
coming out in January 2024. January
Oh,
2020 से
नहीं.
he's been yapping about his book. He has a big old newsletter, and he keeps sending people updates. And people are really excited for his book that may come out in January 2024. And I know all of these details because he sends these emails and he's sending in little BTS, right? I've been looking into this research, that research. But in doing so, he has beta tested his market that people are interested in learning and figuring out motivation. So if I write a book on motivation, chances are at least my audience will buy it. है ना? So this is what we advise non-fiction. Do you have something of that sort this, that you can advise for
Yeah.
fiction, Anisha?
So, fiction writers would not start advertising their books this early on. But so what we advise people to do is once your final draft is done, or abhi chala gaya book to the printer, or it's going to get uploaded into Kindle and it's going to be published. use that 1 week to build a little bit of suspense and drama. That is when we say that would you read a book where see grumpy hero, sunshiny girl meet at odd circumstances. Like then we use those tropey things to reel the audience in. Once the book is out, then you do all your normal marketing and push the book. But if you have previous books, right? So the whole thing is once you have more than two to three, I'm going to give you an example of three books here. So once that happens, is in the new month for 15 days you speak about your for 15 days, not one after the other, but gaps, alternate days karke, you talk about your new book, but you also talk about your old book, because if you don't talk about your book, people will forget. So for fiction we keep saying that keep talking about your books, because who else will? But yeah, if I had a book releasing in 2024, I wouldn't be talking about it until and unless it's a series. So, for example, The Secret Proposal is a series. So, I would yap about it because there are three or four more books coming out from that universe. But if it was just one book, I wouldn't start talking about it. Hence, we were talking about Secret Proposal, then there was a lull, then we spoke about it again because, like you very rightly said, fiction may, if I start revealing from now, I will end up giving away the entire story. So people will go, ये तो trailer में ही सब देख लिया, क्यों? Why will I buy your book?
I think a great example of this phenomena could be Brandon Sanderson. Would you agree?
Oh yeah, yes, he
है
knows
ना?
how to market his books.
So what Brandon Sanderson does is he very smartly reveals the tropes that his new series are going to target, and he doesn't do it in one go. He'll do it
Hmm.
little by little, right? Like uh, instead of giving you the full block of cheese, he will give you one tiny little shaving of cheese. Ki, yeah, enjoy it, mousy. Come next week. And then when the mousy comes back, it gets a slightly bigger piece of cheese, right? And he keeps doing this, and he's not really revealing information about the book. He's mostly just telling you vague little details to get you interested, right? Like a very very illegal example, but he's giving you a taste of the cocaine, and then you are like, huh, now buy, give me the baggie. Please do not do drugs. This was just a very obscure, a very very effective
Yeah, I think
reference
वो
that
ticker में
everyone
एक डाल
gets.
दो that we do not actually count.
Another example I can give of this is of Alex Esther's Light Luck series, right?
Oh yeah, yeah, I
Instead,
was. Yeah.
go ahead, please take it on because you have the fiction expertise.
So I do remember that she was. You were about to talk about a TikTok, right? Where she made a TikTok and she had pitched it openly. That would you read a book? करके- I think it was about an island which appears every 10 years, and all of the okay, Minati has moved out of the camera, but I will tell you the story of Alex. So Alex basically pitched a series on a TikTok. She made a TikTok where she said that would you read a book about an island which appears every 100 years, and where all I think six of the leaders fight to be the ultimate leader, and
Yes,
she got a six-figure deal if I'm not wrong. Was it six or
it was, and also syndication.
yeah?
So her stuff is going to be turned into movies, which is seven because the books were equated to the Hunger Games, right? And that was that particular era, right? Harry Potter, Hunger Games, Twilight, back to back. You had
Divergent.
fantasy books. Oh yeah, yeah, even that series. Yes, the Divergent series. Back to back, you had these series that were working very, 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 very well, and people are trying to recreate that. And it seemed like Alex would because her TikTok just blew up. People were very very excited for the books. So there are so many, even before she put out the book, because she was a middle grade writer, she didn't have, and she's young, so she didn't have a lot of history. She's 50 and then she's been writing for 20 years. No, she's young, she's energetic, but she's creating content around the tropes, as Anisha taught you, right? Manic pixie dream girl meets serious guy, or uh, manic
Abhi,
pixie
there's
dream guy meets serious girl, or rich
yeah.
guy meets poor girl, whatever. So using these tropes, or vampire meets vampire,
You.
you can
Sorry,
get
that's a
people.
personal opinion. I have nothing against vampires. I just don't like them. Like
No,
you
I
write
like.
all the fiction you want about vampire. I know you like the in the shadows. What we do in the shadows.
I was going to say I like mockumentary vampires, where vampires are ruthlessly mocking each other and their existence. Creepy paper. That's a
But there
Easter
was
egg
this, I
for.
think, the Vampire Diaries में where Damon को ये पूछती है
I
that
have
why
not
aren't you.
seen that show. Please, I like my IQ. I'm sorry for how judgmental that sounds.
No, no, no. It was just that where this he's asked that why don't you sparkle, and he's like I sparkle all the time, and you go what the hell?
Yeah,
I have judged that show a lot, so
of
it's fine.
course, of course, of course, of
So,
course.
no,
No,
actually, I'm
like
also going to tell you that tropes do work, yeah. But the best part is to ensure that your tropes are working is introduce something new to your trope. For example, Ali
mm,
Hazelwood. I don't know if you're aware of her. Ali
okay,
Hazelwood blew up. She is the author, and she's also called a book talk sensation.
okay,
She wrote The Love Hypothesis, and one thing that she's
yes.
introduced into the romance world is
Mm.
she exclusively writes about women or men from STEM background because they are never shown as
Ah,
protagonists like STEM. Even I asked my sister that would you read a book where from STEM background? And she said that's very hard to come by. And I said Ali Hazelwood is doing exactly that. All her
yeah.
protagonists are either scientists or they are doing their PhD. They are all from science backgrounds. So that
Yeah.
is something really new.
That is also very smart because ideally these are the type of people who do actually read in bulk, right?
Yeah.
Because they have no social life.
Life hypothesis ka basic premise is like that. Like the third
I
year
know. That is why
PhD
I
student.
did Easter egg.
Huh. Because hers is she basically tries to fake a relationship to convince her best friend, I do have a life. And we all know what happens in fake relationships.
Yeah. Of course we do. So tropes and I was talking to Suman today afternoon and we were talking about her non-fiction book, but a point that I make to most of my clients when they approach me for their non-fiction books is people are not coming you for that grandiose life-changing idea. सबको पता है कि एक book पढ़ के your life doesn't drastically change. है ना?
Yeah.
Everyone knows this deep down. People are mostly coming for solutions to their problems, and solutions to problems are never like something big. It's something very small and something very common sensey, and books like Atomic Habits and all of these, they do it very well. They are telling you very basic things like what is Jordan Peterson's 12 rules for life. Apna bed saaf karo subah utھ ke. Talk nicely to your family. Everybody knows these things. But
Didn't I
then
bump into you that I'm sorry, now I'm being
I know,
judgmental.
no, Anisha, I know. But then what we don't realize is on a macro level, a lot of things that appear to be common sense are not common to the entire world. They might be common to us because of our experiences, our family background, our nationality, culture, etc., etc. Right? So figure out, confront your bias, and once you confront your bias, that's where you kind of find that golden egg laying geese that can ultimately turn into your marketing strategy. Okay, there's a
I have a
question.
question. Yeah.
What would be your advice for new writers? I'm starting it with my short stories and blogs on my website. So, how should I market my content as a newbie? Would you like to take this, Anisha?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so very honestly, when I started from my website, if you scroll way, way, way back, I started off by writing, never go there, Vinati. I started by writing extremely ghatiya poetry. I can see the evil smile on her face.
Fan fiction. Leo. I used to write fan fiction.
Yeah, but
Someday I shall share it.
that is how you build your confidence and you build your reader base also, right? But I would suggest that you're actually on the right track. Once you have your content ready on your website, we would suggest that promote it on your social media, get more people to to read, go to your website, read your blogs, leave comments, because then you will have your reader base and then you will know. Because by the time my first book released, I was not actively blogging per se, but I had already had a blogging circle. So it became a little more easy for me to market my books because I already knew that there were these people who would read it.
Absolutely. Also, one thing that I've learned, I cannot say that I'm good at social media, okay? Like, I'm not good at social media, which is why when it comes to social media stuff, I collaborate with other creators because you have to recognize what you are not good at, right? It's important. And then you can either learn it, and if you can afford to, you can hire people to fix that for you. But one thing you can do to promote your blogs, I think, is compress the idea of, first of all, offer a value proposition with each blog,
Mm-hmm.
and then compress the main idea of your value proposition into consumable content that people would want to read more on, right? Because I love this about our ecosystem. It's not good for views, okay? But people's tolerance to bad content has gone down. It's not that attention spans and all of this. It's just that
Mm-hmm.
if you have not written something good, people won't read it. And you can either be offended by it or you can learn from it, right? So have
Yeah.
that learner's mindset and uh, fine tune how to compress an idea. I am still learning it. I'm not that good at it. I'm more into expanding ideas. But someday I shall learn it. So there's
You are
that.
so right about the attention span thing. The other day, I found a blog that I was very interested in, and I spent 15 minutes reading it. And then I went, people's attention span hasn't gone down. If
Yeah,
it was a bad blog, I wouldn't read it. So it was one of those
absolutely.
compilations of what, when you write office emails, what you say and what you actually mean. Like, I think I told you
Yeah,
this in the afternoon when we were talking about, like, the
yeah,
passive
yeah, yeah, yeah.
aggressiveness, as per my last email, basically means, Arey, read the mail I have sent. But,
Absolutely, absolutely. And also because I think there's earlier there was like a discoverability factor that people had,
mm,
right? That I will go to a bookstore and discover a book and read it. Now I think what has happened is people are discovering books on their screens in advance, right?
yep.
Uh, we've seen this in search trends. People are using long tail searches in
Mm,
these book distribution platforms where nobody is going love story between boy and girl, or boy and boy, or boy and auntie, whatever. People are being very specific with
yep.
what they want to read. And if their book is arranged properly, and we'll be talking about that in the marketplace point, then people will discover your book. And if they discover your book, they'll buy it. So um, I think people have become very good consumers of
They
content
have.
in that regard. They know what they want and they go for it. So you have to figure out that your content is A, what they want, and B, uh, findable, because when they type it in, your book has to show up, basically. So, yeah.
Also, as a new author, I would like to put out a warning at the risk of getting cancelled.
Mm,
Once you say that my book is out, or you announce that you have written a book, your DMs are going to be flooded by a lot of messages from a lot of people. Our advice is ignore those, do your research, find out if they are legit channels, and only then do a collaboration with them.
yeah.
Because from my experience, I have only bought books from legit bookstagrammers who have bought books from stuff, or they have been talking about how good the book is. It's not just copy pasted reviews, right? It's
Mm,
actual real stuff, or it has been right from the author themselves. Like, the author has been talking about the book so much, I've bought it. Like, there is
mm,
this new absolutely, she's a Kindle author who I barely knew, but I really used to like the content. I think her name is Sarah Woodley. So I read her
okay.
book on Kindle Unlimited called The Next Worst Thing, and I read it because the marketing she did for her book herself was so good. So we
Mm,
also need to market our books that well. So please
right.
don't go for these bulk review things; they do not work.
Yeah, I think Kirkus. I think, yeah,
Yeah,
I should
keep
not
this
have
away.
named. Forget that I said that. But I have read so many horror experiences on the self-publishing subreddit of people who
Mm.
have bought Ingram Sparks, people who have bought Kirkus just because something was promised. And see, every business is going to make promises, but
Yeah.
then that would also involve you being involved into the process. They can only
Yep.
do so much. from a certain place, you have to like show up for your own book, right? If you're not showing up for your own book, how can you expect audiences to show up for your book? Like, do for yourself what you wish others would do for you. Totally butchered Kennedy's quote there, but okay.
Also, Amazon has gone on record to say that sales ranks are not dependent on reviews. So
Ah,
there you go.
anytime someone asks me, how did you manage to write 33 bestsellers, ghost write 33 bestsellers? I'm like, that's because bestseller, the word is very shady. And the
Yeah.
way it is determined, there's a full-on logic that exists behind it that like a lot of people are not really aware of, and they just assume bestseller equals to 1 million copies sold, which is definitely not the case. There are so many factors and so many insy wincy tinsy asterisk wala details that go into it. So yeah, there's that.
But the yeah, the only good thing I would say reviews do is wow, do is it gives you a lot of visibility, because once you
Mm,
write the review, like if somebody approaches you after they've read your book,
mm,
just ask them that if they could take like 2 minutes and read your book and review your book, because that
yeah.
just kind of pushes the Amazon algorithm to put your books in front of people who might read the same kind of content. So that is the only
Right.
reason they
So
tell you there are no sales promised, just visibility.
So for additional context on what Anisha said, so if your book gets slated on KDP Select, okay, you have the option of putting your book on 100% discount for specific period of days. Like you can't put a free book at all time because Amazon is dedicating server space to your book. You'll have to give them something, and uh, yeah, it's a give and take, right? So for a
Mhm.
few days you can put your book for free if you qualify for KDP Select. And in this period is where you do the thing that, go ahead.
So KDP Select is when you choose to enroll your book into KDP exclusively. So you everybody has the A to do that.
Yeah,
You
and
have to
they have
pitch
recently
your
amended. No, they recently amended it. Now the free book thing is only available on KDP Select. And
yeah,
I'm
I know
like,
that.
Dekho,
So
they have become
KDP
so smart.
so all my the books that I have published via Amazon na, they are all on KDP Select. So you can choose
Yeah,
not to do wide and just
yeah,
go on Amazon ka Select.
yeah.
But there's a workaround. Look, everything has a workaround. There is if you are interested in putting your book for free forever, there's a way. I will tell you how to do it, but not on this live. Book a call with me.
Yeah, book a call. There you go. The link is in the comments. You can find it there and book a call with her.
But yeah,
Also, because see, the
as you
one of the
rightly
main
said,
reasons. Hold on. One of the main reasons why we don't give this information out is because all of this information is customizable. If I say something, कि ऐसे करो, do it like this, it becomes generalized message. The number one rule of book marketing is Anisha बताओ.
Anisha batao.
हाँ बताओ कि
Oh,
there is no such thing.
one size doesn't fit all. There is no such thing as one size fits all. Oh, we were talking about
Exactly.
this right before the live started. I'm sorry.
Of course, of course. Anywho, so that is why we don't talk about it on lives and in like public videos because then it gives wrong information to people.
Yeah.
And then you can go like, okay, you told me to do this and it didn't work. Well, it didn't work because I told this about this level, this category, this genre of book. Right. So that is why the insistence is on booking calls with people because they'll read through your book and then give you specific suggestions. It's very sad and it is very time consuming, but that's how it is. There's no one size fit all. Even if you look at all the apps, the marketplaces. Let's discuss the marketplaces then, Anisha.
Yeah. Before we go
है
to
ना?
that, I just realized like ADP Select only gives you 5 days every 90 days and then makes you renew your book into the KDP Select thing. Wow, I never thought about it like that. Like नहीं free में नहीं देगा book.
Of course नहीं देगा ना. They need to make money. Like no company, no product is doing anything from the goodness of their heart. They have to survive. है ना? And if you look at Amazon's like if you look at KDP just as a
Hmm.
technology or as a product or whatever you want to call it, the amount of energy, time, and resources it costs Amazon is
Hmm.
probably massive. है ना? So if
Absolutely.
they are doing this as a free service, they will have to close their shutters. है ना? So it makes sense. It makes sense why they have these programs in place. And there are workarounds around all of this. Like I call
Absolutely.
this self publishing. where you publish your book on your own website. You control everything. And when you try doing that, you see how many headaches and how how much crying that happens as a
Have
result
you
of
done
having
that?
to.
I have never done
I
that.
I have not done that by myself, but I was working with someone who did not want to do anything other than that. I was like, I am
Oh
warning you,
no.
but I'll help you. It was so chaotic, but then it was a great learning experience for me. I saw
Now you know
how,
that ये मुझे नहीं करना है.
हाँ मतलब कर सकते हैं, बट अगर ई बुक है तो इफ इट इज
Hmm.
बुक बुक भाई, इंटरैक्टिंग विद डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन चैनल्स, अलग लेवल हेल दैट इज,
Yeah,
अलग
I know
लेवल.
because and some of the bookstores will not take your book. They will force you to come via book distribution channel. I
Also,
remember
it's
because
not their fault, Anisha. It's like they're little monopolies.
yep, yep.
You
They some
remember when?
people yeah, I remember when I worked in a publishing house, I'd spoken to a lot of distributors, and since people are very open to telling you stuff when they think you're from the same industry. They don't tell me anymore because I have switched to the advertising industry. So
Right.
but
Of
tabhi
course,
I
of
had
course.
found out that how one particular channel controls like 70% of the market, and they won't let other books ka visibility come. So you have to go through them.
Yeah, I will be doing another live, by the way, those of you who are listening in, about the two most tadak bhadak news in publishing. These are so crazy, like the possible merger of Penguin and Simon and Schuster. That is
Oh,
news one.
what?
Oh my God, US Congress has currently blocked it because it will be an antitrust violation. It is such bad news for authors, especially new authors. If this
Mm.
goes through, we will be screwed in royalties. But I'll do another live for that because that will be very depressing. And the second news is Barnes and Nobles is not going to stock hardcover for new
Are they
authors and
becoming
unknown authors.
exclusively ebooks or
No, no,
paperbacks?
no, no. They will only stock books from popular authors or well-known authors. So new
That's
authors,
discrimination.
yeah, but see, they are a business. Barnes and Nobles had to close so many stores, right,
Yeah,
over the
oh,
years. And B&B Press is not really hitting it out of the park because it's expensive. Ingram's Park is providing the same service for not half, but lesser price. And
yeah.
if you scale it, it's a lot of money saved going for Ingram's Park over
Hey,
Barnes and Noble. But these are both
so
very depressing news for new authors. But we will do it some other day.
yeah, yeah. I
Abhi
need to
market,
read up on this as well. अरे,
yeah.
is that why they will never let Amazon start their creator, Amazon का creator जो है here, because all our publishing house, self-publishing houses will close the minute that starts.
I
Like,
don't think that's the case. I think the case is Amazon did Westland and they literally hemorrhaged money with that. India has, I think Indian book market has a very specific influencer problem. Uh,
mm,
their books are the ones that are selling, but because influencers demand a lot of money, don't really provide the kind of professional services you expect them to, like show up to events and stuff. So I think ultimately they got tired and they just left. So this experience probably left a bad taste in their mouth, which is why they will never launch the self-publishing thing. Because if the professional people behave like this, imagine what the other. So I think this is maybe why they're not here. I have not talked to anyone from Amazon about this because I don't know someone that
neither have
high up,
I.
to
I
be honest.
don't. I do know someone from Amazon, but they are not in the book thing. They are in the product
Mm,
other stuff. But I was always very curious that they let us do ebooks, but they don't do paperbacks. Paperbacks
mm,
karoge bhi to it's like it's only available in the US and in the foreign
yeah,
marketplaces, not in India. So
yeah.
someone had told me that it's because of the currently we have so many self-publishing things. But now that I thought I'd just ask you because this is where I
Amazon
go when I
literally
need
doesn't care.
when
Amazon
I need.
literally doesn't care about what exists in the market. They come in and because of their buying capacity, nobody will be able to defeat Amazon's buying power. And John Oliver has the best analogy, right? Amazon will
Hmm.
cut off its arm and hemorrhage blood and keep blowing blood. But if you are a normal business, at one point you will run out of blood. So Amazon won't because it has infinite supply. है ना?
I feel like they are
So
going to regrow their limb again. That's a very scary thought, but okay.
That is something you can look up on YouTube. John Oliver has done like a very funny rant on this. It's
Oh,
it's
I will.
sad
I will.
actually, but it is very funny to watch.
I
It is sad as a part of the industry, but it is funny as a viewer. So yeah,
viewer.
let's move to marketplaces. I think
Yes, you've been asking us to do that. Yes, let's start
we've
with the
been
market.
talking about marketplaces with Amazon and all of this anyhow.
Uh-huh.
Marketplaces is basically the place from which you buy your book. Okay. So how are sales strategies and marketplaces related, Anisha? Can you give us a little bit oops, on that?
Sure. Okay, before we start, I should also say that the marketplace, everything that I'm going to tell you, it comes from the genres that I write in. I
Mm,
specifically write romance for new
mm,
adults, and I write fantasy for young adults and for children. So
mm,
everything that I know about selling your books are from these genres. I will not advise you to take this and use it for your crime thrillers or for your others. And what Vinati
mm.
knows is, I think, is for the non-fiction books, right?
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, please, this disclaimer is very, very important. The advice that we are giving for the marketplace is based off our experience. My experience is specifically in nonfiction. Hers is specifically in young adult fiction, right? So if you are writing books that are out of these genres, please, please contact someone
Us.
within that, yeah, within that
We
genre and
can help
category.
you, push you
Yeah,
there.
of course, of
So,
course.
so
Also,
young
there's a
adult and
comment.
children, but
Just wait,
romance and
wait.
fantasy. Yeah.
There's a comment. I think Gerald has to go. Thank you so much for joining us, Gerald Michael. He really liked the discussion we are having
Oh,
so
thank
far,
you.
and there will be a replay. So please feel free to check it out. If LinkedIn playback seems to be problematic, there's a YouTube link of this whole thing as well. I'll put it in the comments later on, so you can check it out there as well. Thank you so much for joining us. Okay, continue, Anisha.
Yeah, so I was saying that, yeah, for young adults and new adults, of course, but specific to romance and fantasy. So please, if you're writing a crime thriller and then you use these things, do not come at me and tell me that your advice didn't work. It's not going to work for crime thrillers.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, so the two marketplaces that I exclusively sell my books in. One is, of course, the great Amazon Kindle. I have been a Kindle author since 2015. It's because my second book wasn't getting published, and I was like, "Oh, you're showing your Kindle." I was like, "Screw it, I'll do it myself." I made a lot of mistakes. I did not understand how the marketplace worked. I
Hmm,
studied about it a lot. And when I
hmm,
was in Goa earlier this year, I cracked the code about how to sell your books in Amazon.
hmm.
So for Amazon, you need to understand the genre you are writing in, and you have to understand for Amazon, right? People who are reading Kindle books, they are very fast consumers. So you need
Mhm.
to write a series. It cannot be a one-off book that एक दिन एक साल लिख दिया और नहीं लिखेंगे, right? It has to be something that if it's a series, then every month or every 2 months you need to write your books, and you need to teach your audience that my books come out every 2 months or every 3 months, and you have to stick to that schedule.
I'm
So
muting myself because I will keep making and
that's
you will
okay. I
get
like that.
distracted.
No, I will
Okay,
not. I
then
like that.
I'll
I live
keep
with.
myself unmuted.
Okay, so I am in Calcutta right now, and my cats are in Bombay. I kind of miss that. Like if I
Okay, so
was in
I will
Bombay,
be
my
your cat.
my cats just come and they are
Meow.
there. But again,
Okay, okay.
so that is all I know about Amazon for now, because even I'm very new to understanding how the marketplace works. For
Right.
the paperbacks,
Mm.
they are of course available on Amazon, they're available on Flipkart, they're available everywhere, they're available on bookstores as well. So you need to
Yes.
understand when you are marketing your book. I primarily market my books on Instagram, is because, like
Mm.
I mentioned earlier, the people who read my books have always contacted me on Instagram and told me how much they love the books. So I know that my
Yeah.
audience is hanging out there.
Mm.
So
Absolutely.
usually what I like doing is, of course, you can't just go, hey, buy my book, hey, buy my book, like my friend Shilpa Suraj had said a few days ago. That's annoying.
Mm.
But what you
Yeah.
can do is talk about your own journey as an author, talk about your experiences while writing the book, or share
Yes.
little instances and BTS, like the author you mentioned who's been doing
Mm.
BTS for his book for
Yes.
2024. वो हम नहीं कर सकते, but we do BTS right before the release or right after the release. So that one
We
we
we will see. Technically, this is part of your BTS, right? We are
yeah
basically the future life that will do on editing fiction books.
yeah
Maybe that could be a BTS because we both collaborated on that.
yes
So this is how you can do BTS. Instead of talking about the book, talk about the process.
yeah
If the plot relies on building suspense and all of that, which is generally the case with fiction books, talk about the behind the scenes instead of talking about the plot and the characters. Talk about
mm,
the themes that you are targeting, right? Say, for example, as Anisha mentioned, ki romance, है ना?
yep
So that is a coming of age. That is something you can talk about. And instead of talking about your own book, this is something that I like to call, or rather, Melinda Gates has coined this term actually. I have stolen it. Moment of lift, right? Give moment of lifts to fellow authors.
yep
Ki in the coming of age genre, there is
yeah
this book that you can read, there's that book that you can read, there's this author you can read. They will be very, very grateful to you that you've read their book. B, you have talked about their book for free, something which rarely happens uh, organically, right? You have to ask
yeah
people to do it. But if it happens organically, good gosh, the level of happiness that you give someone by absolutely making their day, right? So do that. Give little moments of lifts to authors in your genre. So whenever it is, see, this is very sneaky also. Whenever it is that your book comes out, chances are they will at least read the first chapter that is shown in the preview. Or if you send them an arc or an advanced review or reader copy, chances are they will read it and then review your book and then talk about it if it is good, right? So give moments of lift, give as openly and as gratefully as you can, and then when your book comes out, uh, be prepared to accept all of that love back. And in doing this giving exercise, you're not doing any sales, you're not doing any marketing,
yeah
you are setting a tone for what kind of books you like, right? You are setting a tone for what kind of books you ideally tend to read. So this is how people will assume that, okay, if she's writing a book that's probably going to, hit this pointers, so I can definitely buy it because I also like that book that she recommended. So these are like very holistic, organic sales strategies that work very, very well for selling your books on your own, right? Without
hmm
relying on any of the other advertising stuff. Just you being yourself talking about books on social media.
I am still trying to figure out. I have run Facebook ads couple of times, haven't had much
Yeah.
success. So once like I said, I don't like talking about things I don't know anything about. All the
Mhm.
sales and everything that I've been able to do has been organic. So that's why I talk a lot about it as well. But
Yeah.
yeah, some of it was definitely getting over myself and talking about my journey as an author. Like one of the
Yes.
first things is you figure out your content pillars, right? And your content pillars shouldn't just be your books. Like Binati very rightly said, talk about the other authors you read, talk about your own writing journey, talk about things you have learned as a writer.
Yeah.
Because people who are following you at the end of the day, most people who read also, it's some in their heart of hearts, they also want to write. So even if they
Yeah.
don't write today, they might write someday and they will be collecting those nuggets of information.
Of course, of course. Like I cannot. There are so many of these conversations, like author conversations, that I've been part of, and then I picked up books because I heard of them. Like there was no way I could have read certain books organically, were it
Yeah.
not for some other author recommending it, right? Like
Right.
take the Song of Achilles thing for example. I forced you to buy that book,
Oh my
right?
god, I
Even though
love
it
that woman
was
now so much.
I know. It's I was not going to read the Song of Achilles because it's like, हाँ ठीक है mythology पे love story बनाया मैं बहुत पढ़ लिया नहीं पढ़ना. Plus, I'm not a fan of like love stories and all of that. But then like this person I trust as a person was like, यार विनोदी तू पढ़ ले एक बार पढ़ ले तू. I was like, fine. This book is so expensive, but you know what? Let me just.
It was
And
worth it.
I read the Song of Achilles, cried. Then I also read her second book, cried. I'm like, "Teesra aa raha hai. When is it coming out?" I'm so
Persephone.
ready because yeah, it's this is how it happens, right? This is how you suck people into root for you as an author. And
Absolutely.
this as a strategy works so much better for you than I think uh, any like paid ad campaigns ever
Any
would, because
exactly.
yeah,
Paid ad
like
campaigns
people,
when the ROI is going to be, sorry, ROI is return on investment. I'm sure people do know that. Uh,
this is
but
LinkedIn. People know that.
but the thing is, you're going to be a little disappointed because the amount initially the amount of spends is going to be higher than the amount of returns, and it's just going to be so disappointing. So my thing is
Yeah,
have like a couple of books out, have like a nice little reader base, and the best part is there are so many readers. You're not
yeah,
going to be in competition because somebody is looking for the book you're writing.
yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
like
Absolutely. Someone is always looking for the book that you are writing. This is what you are going to put in if you guys do journaling. Put this in your journal today. If you ever feel imposter syndrome about you as a writer, right? If you ever feel like the writing I'm doing is not enough, it's not good, etc., all the negative feelings, read that. Someone out there is going to read the book that you are writing. If you feel like you don't have that someone, reach out to authors like me. हम लोग तो ऐसे ही पढ़ते रहते हैं books, right? So it's up to you and how you view your book and how you show people, right? How you view your book. Because see, I am so shy about marketing myself. So when I tell you, go to my website, you'll be like, you rarely speak about your website. Why would I? So apply the same logic to your books too, right? So yeah, there's that.
but I think
Chalo,
you
let
are getting get better. Now I see a lot more content from Vinati on her social media.
yeah, because Rahul Mandal, I think I don't know whether you've known him or not, but I met him through CAP, LinkedIn Creator Accelerator Program, and he was like, "Vinati, करना पड़ेगा, कोई option नहीं
Hmm.
है तुम्हारे पास." And I was like, "क्यों?" He was like, "Don't throw a tantrum," and I needed to hear that
I have been telling
because
you
some,
this forever, and this. I'm
but you
sorry,
are
whoever you are,
friend.
Rahul person, you convinced her.
Your friend, he is in sales and marketing, तो असर ज्यादा होती है ना.
I am a content
Like,
strategist by
yes, but
profession,
then
just by the
you
way.
are friend first, Anisha. You are friend. You'll always be friend. You are like fine. Like just like how I'll keep telling you certain things and you'll disregard them because तो बोलती रहती है.
Hey, I do listen to you. What is this? I got my life together because of.
Oh, don't say that in public. I will get DMs. Help me.
By the way, Binati also has, I don't know why she's not put her own top mate thing. You can also book a call with her and ask her for advice.
Okay. Yeah, I'll share my top meet link. See, I'm very scared कि मेरा book हो जाएगा तो मैं काम कब करेगा. So I have to still optimize the calendar thingy to, yeah,
No,
I'm
you can.
currently
You
only giving,
optimized it yesterday.
yeah, I'm only currently giving out that link in DMs, but maybe I should publish it. Yeah, I should publish it. Okay, this is what I will do tomorrow for sure. I will publish my call booking link. I will take it from there. Okay, coming back to the thing we are supposed to talk about,
Yes.
marketplace.
Yeah, yeah. We have been talking about marketplaces.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's Amazon, there's
Yeah.
Google, there's Kobo, there's Apple, there's bookstores, there's official websites, there's BookBub. There's so many marketplaces. Like if I sit and just recite the marketplaces, ऐसे एक घंटा ऐसे ही हो जाएगा. There are so many places where you can sell your book. It's not even funny anymore how many marketplaces exist. The key thing is how you can target the said marketplaces, which is something that the strategist is going to talk about. Go ahead.
How you target these marketplaces? Well,
Mm.
if it's
Talk
an
about the
ebook,
two you use. Yeah,
yeah, I to exclusively use Amazon for my ebooks. I exclusively use Amazon. I'm not white. So when you put your ebook out in other places, other than when you don't choose to be on Kindle Select or Kindle Unlimited, yeah, then you get to be on Google Books. You get to be on Kobo, Barnes and Nobles, and everything.
right.
So for that, I think Draft to Digital has optimized it really well. You can just put your book up on Draft to Digital, and it will automatically distribute to every single channel out there. So you don't have to worry about putting your book individually everywhere.
Of course.
But with my experiment, I saw that since I had already built up my audience in Amazon, my audience prefers to be on Amazon because most of my reads come from the unlimited subscription.
Hmm.
So that is something you will have to do with trial and error. So I would say that Amazon has this 90-day cycle. So see where you're getting more sales from and choose your marketplace like that for your
Yeah.
ebooks. For your paperback, if you're self-publishing, I will not be able to help you much because I have been traditionally published mostly for all my paperbacks. So
Hmm.
they kind of my sales manager basically tells me that idhar rakhte hai, this is going to be good. Like I am from
Hmm.
Calcutta, so they target the books from Calcutta because Calcutta, obviously, all your cities will have these programs where they promote local authors. So whichever
Yeah.
city you're from, I would suggest go and talk to these bookstores and see if they have these programs. Because I know Chennai ka Odyssey has a program where they promote authors from Chennai. So that is where
Yeah.
our friend Ratna got his book there in Odyssey.
And Odyssey, Odyssey is, I think, Odyssey or the Odyssey in Chennai. I've
Yeah,
seen they really promote the authors from Chennai very well.
yeah.
And I've not seen any other city or state compared to what Odyssey Chennai
Yeah.
does for local authors. So yeah,
Titles
maybe we
and
can, and we can, book unions can be like, please have a
yeah,
column for local authors. We can go to the bookstores and prepare in advance for the future of a book. Something I can add to this, as Anisha said, look into your cities and states government websites.
yes.
Also look into Government of India's website, जहाँ पे ISBN नंबर तुमको 3 रुपए में मिलेगा. 3 रुपए.
Yeah, I remember having
This
this
is it.
conversation.
Our government gives ISBN number for 3 rupees. Literally, in as an Indian citizen, this is such a big advantage and benefit we have as an author. And a lot of us are unaware of it because we don't
Yeah,
check these websites and these programs. So check the government of India, government of whatever state you are in. So for me, that is Gujarat. For Anisha, that is Maharashtra or Kolkata.
West
West
Bengal.
Bengal.
Yeah, Kolkata is the city. But yeah, but the thing is, to be fair, not many people know about the ISBN thing. It's purely because we are into publishing, we knew about it. Because I
Yeah, yeah,
remember
yeah.
we had
But
paid through
you,
our noses initially.
if you Google how to, because
Yeah,
if you are doing a book on your own, you're going to Google the basic things. I
yeah,
think ISBN number shows up. ISBN, copyright,
yeah.
some of these basic things show up. And sometimes people spend a lot of money without seeing that there are options. Go to your city ka website. So when we did our book, we found out that BBC Suffolk in the
Hmm.
UK
Yeah.
was featuring local authors. So
Oh
Mel
wow.
Cyril, who was one of my co-authors, approached them, and that is how our book ended up on BBC Suffolk. BBC, ऐसे ही बैठे बैठे time pass में. So this is what I'm saying.
You never told me this.
Literally zero effort went into going on BBC. All we had to do was just look at the websites and in the individual cities that we were. And turns out Suffolk was the one that had the option available. And because the opportunity was there, we were like, okay, let's do it. And that's how we got our book shouted out on BBC Suffolk. So
Lovely.
you just have to be like a little keyboard warrior in a good way. Instead of wasting time fighting with people on internet about pointless things, do the same thing in researching all of these different sources. Like looking through, researching the wrong word. Just look through some of these sources. Have a bookmark. Like on my, when I do my Notion live, remind me, I will show you, when I'll be sharing my screen, I'll show you guys the drop down list. Literally, it is called check. There is a folder called check where I have to check these links. And you can also create something like this. It's
It's so cute.
um, I don't like to, make it complicated. I have very
Fun.
literal folder titles: blog, books,
I
content,
like you have all
fun.
these check things. I like making my life easier. So I look for all the free software so that I can do
Uh-huh.
everything and without outsourcing the bulk of my works. Hence I got so good
Yes,
at doing everything by myself. Like
of
if you
course,
like
of
you
course.
said, if you look for it, everything is available. Like
Yeah,
Vinati said, I will build on that and tell you that use your searches wisely. Let's
yeah,
not go into sites and get distracted. There is so much the internet has to offer you. Let's use it for productive work.
Yep, exactly. Exactly. Use it for productive work and use it to your benefit. Like, there's no point winning something on the internet. It's better to have money in the bank
Or watching
than,
Twilight again. Please don't do that.
God, I cannot believe it has made a comeback, Anisha. I was like, oh, people are saying it's going to be remade. I'm like, what?
I saw someone's reel which said that the book that got me into reading and it was Twilight. And I was like, if I meant agar pehle, that was the first book I had read and I would have been turned off from reading forever.
This is where I have grown up a little bit in this regard. Okay, like I was so bloody judgmental about Chetan Bhagat and Twilight, and the kind of literature I'm referring to, right? Not written well, not really talking about anything, just giving you masala content that you enjoy reading and then khatam, right? Uh, I think the purpose that a lot of these books serve, and I know this is maybe thoda sa controversial as an opinion,
Like people
is
read,
yeah. See,
at least they are
we
reading.
I'll tell you, we both like reading so much is because there's a privilege there in terms of our parents. Like my father would read stories to me. I used to get
Mm.
books as gifts. ठीक है? तो this was a part of how I was brought up. है ना? Not everyone has that. Some families are ultra crazily religious. Okay, they are only allowed to read religious text or something like that at home. तो
Mm.
ऐसे लोगों का जब when they get access to easy literature like this, that is their entry point into reading something else.
Yep.
है ना? So I remember in school, everyone was talking about some page. I forgot the name of the page, where a character in Chetan Bhagat's book, Five Point Someone, where the main character touches someone boob, and everyone had lost their mind in the class. I was like, क्या
अरे
मतलब
यार,
चल
it's the
क्या रहा है?
same thing.
Because
I'm
we had read
he
Hills
might
and Bones, right? तो क्या ही है अभी
he
ये क्या
might
है?
nahi. So the thing is, I'm so sorry, and he might, if he ever sees this live, he's going to cancel me. But Chetan
Hmm.
Bhagat wrote the same sex scene for all his books, and I'm saying this because I've read all his books.
Of course. अभी कहाँ
Like it
creativity?
was,
You try to be creative in this regard as an author in public in India. People will
you can't
cancel
do.
you for another reasons. Do you
Yep.
understand? So we have billion plus in the population, and yet there are certain topics we cannot touch, which is something that I
नहीं
do not
अभी तुम
understand
इधर
about.
ये देख लो ना. इट्स ऑफ कोर्स इट्स हिपोक्रेसी. लाइक सविता भाभी का जो ऑफिशियल साइट है, दे हैव सो मेनी सब्सक्रिप्शंस एंड दे आर सो मच they have so much of visitors and they make so much of money, but actually कौन रन करता है किसी को नहीं पता, because the poor guy will get, or girl or whoever it is, will get beaten up.
Of course, of course. And this was, oh my God. I remembered something I saw on India TV. Rakhi Sawant was brought on that Abhi Adalat thing. And some uncle, like some very some करके खड़े हुए थे, unsanskari, all of that. So Rakhi Sawant was like, आपका mobile दीजिए. And he took his phone and she went through his history. And it was all pervy stuff that he was looking at. And then she didn't say anything. She just gave his phone back to him. Like, ho gaya? And uncle's
Uncle doesn't know how to delete history. That is what I have learned.
so these kind of things keep happening and keep showing
अरे
up.
no,
And
अरे कल ही तो I was watching that. Remember the Ranveer Singh controversy where the woman, तो उसका तो disco
see,
version
see
भी,
his
so you can
mom.
see his. I'm so sorry. It's like 10:40 and we are doing this instead of telling you how to market your books.
Yeah, I mean, how to market your books? Make it fun. Make it into a Yashraj Mukhate song, and everyone would be like, "ये किधर से आया? रसोड़े में कौन था?" I think everyone knows this by now in India at least.
Oh yeah, the one thing, right, when we are talking about marketplaces and promotions, since they are correlated, I'm sorry I forgot to tell this before when we were talking about social media marketing. Or are we coming to
Hmm.
that later?
No, no, please, please. carry on.
Okay.
अपना ही है अभी
So
कौन है
one
भी.
thing that I'm a little tired of looking at and everybody cribbing is Amazon, not Amazon, what is it? Instagram algorithm hates me. The algorithm doesn't hate you. You have
Yeah.
taught the algorithm bullshit things.
Yes.
Understand one thing. There are three algorithms that run through Instagram. One is for
Three,
stories, one
three that we know of.
they're multi. Oh, yeah,
Asterisk.
right. Sorry. I'm so sorry. We have discussed this as well. Three that we know of. So the three that we know of, Biniti and I, we are going to tell you. One is Instagram Reels, which is to help you get pushed into other accounts with similar interests and make you discoverable. You
Yeah.
do not need to dance on Reels, contrary
Yeah.
to popular opinion. Just keep a watch out for the trending audio, and you can turn it into content that works for you. Like a
Yeah.
lot of times, Backyard Tales is a book where cats play a huge role, and I have cats.
Mm.
So I have used my cats to market that book like crazy, and I've used those trending audios to do it. I have not
Yeah.
danced on any of my reels. My cats has.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so that
Absolutely.
is
Also because cats and books,
yeah,
it's the cat lovers and book lovers. It's a the Venn diagram is a circle. So you can kill two birds with one stone if you have a cat. Just make your cat sit on a book and put its paw there, and every reader on Instagram that sees this will go ah and come to your page.
absolutely. If you have pets, please use their cuteness to sell your books. Everybody does it.
Yes, their cuteness is their rent. See it that way.
Okay. The next algorithm is the stories, which is for your existing followers. Because
Mm,
you should also pay attention to the people who are already following you, whether it's 15
yeah,
people, 250 people, 300 people. Interact with them and make them feel important. Like
yeah,
ऐसा ना हो that you're running after more followers, and the followers जो बेचारे बैठे हैं, they go, अरे this person is not even interested in creating content for me, and goes. Because सभी
yeah.
को भाव लगती है भाई. Everybody wants that bit of attention.
Of course, absolutely.
And the third one is the I'm so sorry.
And
And the third one is that for your feed post. Do you want to take the
yeah,
call? Yeah.
I silenced it.
Yeah.
I thought I
And
had silenced the phone, but I had not. Go
okay.
ahead.
And the third one is the feed post. So abhi kya hai, since a lot of people are doing a lot of stories and a lot of reels are happening. I'm
Mm,
not sure whether you know this. The Kardashians sent out a, they put up a post saying that can Instagram be Instagram again? Please let's. I want to see pretty pictures and all that. So abhi if you put up pictures or if you put up carousels, you're going to get a lot of reach because abhi Instagram has decided that हम लोग ये feed post को push करेंगे. So when I put
mm,
up my birthday post, it got way more reach than the stuff that I have put for the single post for announcing the book
yeah,
because the Kardashians said so. And unfortunately, we live in a world ruled by influencers.
yeah. Specifically influencers like, oh my God, again, judgmental Piccolo has activated, so I'll shut up.
But yeah, but that is what
Coming,
happened. There was actually
yeah,
a article that was released by the Instagram Andrew. I don't know how to pronounce his surname. Bassi, Bassi. He actually said that
I don't know.
Instagram ka jo new they wanted to actually introduce full length videos and all. They have put a hold on that because that post
Mm,
by I think Illusion or somebody had originally posted, "Can Instagram be Instagram again? I want to see pictures." That reached 2 million likes, and so they were like, "ठीक है, तो फिर video things on hold रखते हैं. Let's just promote posts for now."
yeah. I think
So
this is a common complaint. This I put in my feedback to LinkedIn also. Okay, bhai, why are you trying to be TikTok? Yeah, I'm not coming to LinkedIn for. But then I realized that everyone comes to every platform for specific reasons. So I don't comment on that anymore. He make Instagram again, or make Facebook again. Like I understand people remember platform as something and all of that. However, see, platforms are businesses and they're going to continue to
hmm,
evolve. They'll keep looking at the bottom line, which is something as marketers or amateur marketers we have to keep in mind with the marketplaces, right? As a
absolutely.
platform evolves, so does the marketplace. Just say take Instagram for example, you could sell directly from Instagram. but now Instagram is distancing itself from its store, right? So obviously, these kind of things keep happening. Say, I have had great success with my clients on Apple books because Apple books are human curated, right? Like they don't have an algorithm. They
Correct.
literally curate the books and they send, like if you are signed up to Apple books, they'll send notifications to your Mac, iPad, iPhone, iWatch, जहाँ पे तुमने book download करके रखी है ना? So they'll keep doing this again and again based on your interests. And on Amazon, what we have to do is we have to source for keywords. है ना? We want the multiple algorithms. Oh, for fuck's sake. We want the multiple algorithms to catch the keyword when it
Yeah.
is kind of launched, right? Or looked into or looked up in the search. On Apple, we have to get, like, let's say we have to get our book to show up in people's recommended feeds, right? And to do that, we don't have to do all those keyword shenanigans. We have to do uh, identified, no, no, distinguished pedantiness, where uh, you kind of make your book sound way, way, way fancy than it actually is. So it's the marketplace will determine what kind of uh, book format, like blurb formatting and all of that you do for your book.
Hmm.
है ना?
Yeah. So you're remember when you're pitching to publishers, the first thing what do? You write your book synopsis, right? That's your
Yeah,
pitch. When you're
yeah.
writing your book blurb, that is your pitch to your readers. For
Yeah.
Amazon, you will have to make it a little SEO friendly. So uske liye you'll have to learn Amazon SEO. And like you rightly
Mm,
said, I am not very aware of Apple, so I will take your word for it. But from what my research has shown me, it's
mm.
for Amazon and both Google, since it's human curated, they are a little more friendly. Whereas Amazon is completely AI.
Yeah.
AI, it's completely based. So you will have to be a little bit, you have to pepper your blurb in a way that it's both human friendly, because at the end of the day, humans are reading the blurb, but the algorithm needs to also pick up on the book.
You have to trigger the keywords
Yeah.
basically. That's it. So it completely depends on what marketplace you are targeting. And
Yeah.
as Anisha said, ki you can set your book. There is a way, right? There is a way you can put your book in multiple places, even if it is an Amazon exclusive. You can contact Anisha about how to do that, right? Because again, it's not a one size fit all. So I think we couldn't and shouldn't talk about it. It
Yeah.
would, yeah, it would probably turn into bad advice further down the line if we generalize it. So, yeah, I think with that, we are done with marketplaces.
We are, yes.
Huh?
And if you
So,
do
for
have
next,
specific questions about marketplaces, feel free to contact us. All our contact details are there in the comments.
yep, yep. So, what next are we talking about in terms of sales strategies?
Okay, one more point I would say is do not hate on your poor publishers. Like, I am saying this because I've been on both ends. I have been a
Of course,
publisher
of
and I've
course.
also cursed my own publisher. But they are kind of right in saying that hum bolenge na, that we have got this book out. The people will go, you are the business. You will want to sell
Mm,
your book. But when
of
the
course.
writer is saying that I have created this, you selling your
Mm,
book is, you will, like the name of this thing is, we have to learn how to sell our book without sounding salesy.
yeah, yeah.
That's, I think,
And
would be the last point, I guess.
this is where mirror and video camera is your best friend, right? You have to practice.
Yeah.
Thoda practice your pitch, right? And practice it till you become comfortable with it enough so that you can like lob it. I am very confident when it comes to pitching myself on video calls. But ask me to do that for my own website, I'm like, no, I'm
Do
shy
it for your
puppy.
website.
Yes, yes. So do it. Like you'll have to figure out how to do this for yourself and your books. There's no other way around it. You have to get over it because
Yeah, and
oh,
also
there's no other
don't.
way.
Yeah. Yeah, one more thing I would, again, I think we spoke about this when we first started the live, is don't get overwhelmed and don't think that you have to be everywhere. You don't need to be everywhere. Pick one
You
place,
don't.
stick to that place. For
Yeah.
example, Vinati and I met on Instagram, but if you look at us, I primarily work more with Instagram and she stays more on LinkedIn. Like,
Yeah.
you have to understand where your people are.
Yeah, and also like I'm more comfortable on LinkedIn because here people talk in details. On Instagram, people keep it snazzy and jazzy, and I don't gel well in that scenario considering the way I talk. So it's okay, right? You can figure out what is comfortable for you and your book and your target audience simultaneously. Like it Venn diagrams don't just have two circles, they can have three circles, four circles. Just spend 15-20 minutes and write down what your priorities are, write down what you actually have, and write down what you aspire to. Three things. And then figure out where there could be intersection points and start there. You know, because those intersection points will be the comfort zone.
Because there's a marketplace we did, sorry, there's a social media platform we didn't talk about at all because neither of us are active there. But I have friends out there, and so does Vinati. Book Twitter is a huge platform, but I have never used it, so I can't tell you how to use it.
Yeah, I think James Clear's Atomic Habits initial push completely thanks to Twitter.
Yeah.
Same with Diego Forte's Build a Second Brain. Uh, People have created so much content from their blogs and stuff on Twitter to like from their newsletter and things like that. That when their books came out, people already knew who they were, right? So uh, even I think another great example of this could be Naval Ravikant, the almanac of Naval Ravikant, where Naval Ravikant has not written anything. Someone else has prepared the almanac based off of this tweet of how to get wealthy that was written by him. Came out from an insane wealth privilege place, but still, you know, it's something that a lot of people learn from and relate to. So
Lovely.
whenever Naval Ravikant writes a book, if you put Naval Ravikant in your book as a title name or something, people will at least click on the link and be like, "Arey, kya naya aaya? Let me see." है ना?
Yeah, but don't
So
do that. Amazon will ban you.
I know. Don't do that if it doesn't have like an any actual basis, but this is a technique people use.
I know, but I'm just because again we don't know who's watching us, so we have to give disclaimers.
I think no one is watching us. It's
Oh,
late, Anisha. It's almost 11.
that's okay.
Yeah. So I think I did we leave anything off? I'm so tired and sleepy. I can't even.
Yeah, the last thing is I'm so sorry we did not speak about Facebook, but I've seen a lot of people build whole communities. Like if you have a website, they build like they have a Facebook page, they build a group, they have their entire
Hmm.
group of people who are there, and this
Yeah.
mostly works for people who are teaching you something, I guess.
Yeah.
I haven't done it so
Absolutely.
again, but I've seen a
Yeah.
lot of these gurus do it.
Yeah. Facebook is very good for selling books, actually. That is why most of the advertising dollars that people used to put up. This is before book talk happened, book TikTok.
Hmm.
Very irrelevant to Indian audiences क्योंकि हमारे तो TikTok है ही नहीं. But for the rest of the world, oh my God, I've seen book talk in action, Anisha. I've
Yeah.
seen it was ridiculous. One, it was 11 seconds, that video. 11 seconds, and the way in which the sales number ticked as a tack. And I was like, holy shit, one video has the power to do that? Yes. It's just
Yes.
about what hits a corner with people. People have the buying potential, and it's up to you whether your work kind of targets that for people. So, yeah,
Yeah.
think
I think we
about,
covered everything.
yeah, I
Yeah,
think
think
so
about
too.
that. Like
Yeah.
there's this really good advice. I think I most probably I read it on one of the Readsy courses as well, where they
Mm,
said that if you're overwhelmed by thinking that,
mm,
oh my god, my target audience is huge, how do I narrow it down? Think
yeah.
of one person you already know. Is your book
Mm,
for that person? Then think of the content that that person would enjoy, and then try creating content targeted to that person.
mm. Absolutely. I think that
That's a
makes
little,
perfect
yeah,
sense.
that's a
No,
little
that
less
makes sense.
overwhelming. Yeah.
And that is okay. Random fact, but Josh Wardle the
Yeah.
guy who created Wordle, also the guy who created the Our Place subreddit, where you use pixels and form any drawing you want as a collective on Reddit. And people made the most funniest things, ultimately for it to turn into like a full blank canvas. It was poetic. But before it became poetic, it was hilarious. So, what Josh Waddle did with Wordle is he kept designing the game till it became perfect for his girlfriend, right? And then when Wordle, that game, launched, it hit a chord with so many people
Yeah.
because this is one very difficult thing to, I think, digest as a human being because we like to believe we are unique and different, and we are. But about many big things, we are similar. है ना? In big ways, almost every human being that you see will, on an empathy level, we are going to like the similar things because
Yeah.
ultimately we are the same species, different
Yes.
colors, different shapes, different sizes, same ही है. So think, visualize one person and then go for it. And
Because
and
हाँ,
you know, I remembered something
yeah.
during this LICAP mentoring. Nusair Yasin, the guy behind Nas Daily, he said
Hmm.
he creates all of his content such that his mother could understand it,
Oh,
and that was such a
see,
brilliant.
it was such good, huh? This is such good advice because udhar they specifically, I kind of changed it to say one person. In the
Mm,
reading course, they said that target your best friend. If your best friend
right.
reads your books, then try and create content for your best friend because then that
Yeah.
becomes a little less overwhelming. Because if you think
Yes.
about, oh my god, 15 to 18-year-olds, what do they like? उससे बेहतर है you know one 15-year-old, चलो tell me what do you like.
Ah, my cousin Pinku. I will write it for Pink.
Well, I
My
do
per-
something even more. I don't know if it's stingy or if it's cute or whatever. I just go
okay.
back to my 15-year-old version and I wonder what will she like, and I write it for her.
My God, what would I like? I was reading, as a 15-year-old, I was reading Sasu Saku fan fiction, which is like a pairing from the Naruto universe between Sasuke Uchiha and Sakura Haruno. I still read it,
Oh
Anisha.
wow,
I'm not over it yet.
that's nice. Like honestly,
No,
one of the
it's
reasons
not. It is so cringe, but I enjoy it, so I enjoy it.
I kind of grew up wanting like stuff that was written for the American teenagers or the European teenagers for our teenagers. So that is why I write the content I write. Like I wanted to read the books I write. So that's why I write
Yeah,
them.
this is something I've wondered. Why did Indian characters never get big love stories? Why are their love stories always like, हाँ मंडप में शादी हो गया?
Hence I started it because I wanted to read it. I wanted to also have those kind of moments where I know these are film references, but holding a
Yeah.
boombox out of my downstairs window ke bahar,
हाँ,
then
the
running behind.
giant gesture. Yeah, the
Yeah.
giant gesture that is practical, that is doable. मतलब, ऐसा मतलब imagine कर सको कि हाँ ये actually हो सकता है मेरी life में. We don't have
Yeah.
that, do we? We
You're right, मंडप पे शादी हो गई या पेरेंट्स ने फिक्स कर दिया शादी कर लो एंड देन आई फेल इन लव विद माय हस्बैंड एंड यू गो है.
No, I mean, I'm sure that happens. I'm not. I that is, I think, the story of so many Indians. पर फिर उसको बुक में भी क्यों पढ़ना है? बुक में कुछ और पढ़ाओ ना. We go to books. Fiction books are supposed to be escapist. They're supposed to give you like an escape into a
Yeah.
fictional universe, and the fictional universe suspiciously similar to real universe. You're like, पढ़ा मैंने ये. So,
You were talking about grand gestures, and I was laughing because one of the nicer books I wrote, All Things Lead Back to You, met the grand gesture this girl does is she crashes the
don't
car
don't
on her
don't tell
18th.
tell people to read the book.
I
What
was
are you
telling
doing?
you.
We are live.
No, but they need to know what happens for her to do that. So go read the book.
Okay. Exactly. See, go read the book. This is how you do it. You stop your friends from doing unintentional spoilers of their book.
But I'll tell you what it was because, oh my god, I have written very bad. I have written epic grand gestures. So do read all the books I've written. You'll figure out all
Yeah,
the grand gestures that my characters have done. But
yeah,
primarily my target was that why are our children growing up on, Western, not that I have anything against it, but they should see themselves represented in the books as well.
absolutely. I think that is why Mindy Kaling ka wo hai na, never have I
Never have I
ever.
ever.
I think
Huh.
even Indians living in India who are not like, who are not immigrants in another country, even they are relating to a lot of the things because parents USA में रहें कि इंडिया में रहें, ऐसे तो करेंगे ही,
I think,
है ना?
hmm.
So people do love to be represented, and we as authors we can take the brave decision to represent them. I mean, I did that with my sci-fi because I've legit not seen good sci-fi featuring Indian characters. There would be an Indian origin scientist sitting somewhere doing something techie, but they are never the main characters, not even supporting
Yeah, even
characters.
in Big Bang Theory, mein, what the hell was Raj Kutrapali, man? Like, you know what? Never have I ever met. I really like one thing that they did this last season.
Hmm.
The Indian guy was not shown as a dog. He was like this hot person who was everybody's crush. And that was
Yeah,
so cool to watch.
this is also such a big problem with representation that Indians are shown as like, let's say, non-attractive people. And I'm like, have you seen Indian people? We good looking,
Exactly.
yo. So I think these are spaces that Indian authors can fill. And the marketing around all of these spaces could be activism.
Yeah, I think that's
Call
what
for
Sandhya
better
Menon
treatment
did.
of Indian characters. What? Who?
So there's this show called Mismatched on Netflix,
Okay.
and it's based on this book called When Dimple Met Rishi. So Sandhya Menon is the writer,
Okay.
and
Okay.
Sandhya Menon ka original story was based in New York, I believe, where and these were the children of immigrants as well. But when
Okay.
Netflix did the show, they turned it into like बस basics जो है the main
Hmm.
characters and all उन लोगों को लिया, but they set the story in India and they set everything else is in India. So that was really nice to watch.
Right. Of course. That makes a lot of sense. And
But
not
you
just as
also
an
wonder that,
Indian, but
yeah.
yeah.
But then that is when you wonder that, but why? And then the answer is there is not enough young adult literature written for young adults in India. That is why
Yeah,
they had to do
because
that.
if I try to buy a young adult book, मेरे को चप्पल पड़ती घर पे. You understand? What are you reading? So this is the activism around your books. Write these books and then make activism your marketing strategy. What that could do is that could help you maybe change your social scenario a little bit because see every movement we've seen in social media began with a very innocuous post pointing out something very problematic, but then so many people related to it because it was explained so well, and then from there, the thing just got a life of its own. So if you could do something of
Absolutely.
that sort with your original content, kind of original in the sense of books that have not been written yet, original
Oh
kind
yeah,
of a
I
way.
do have a lot of them planned. In fact, even the
Yeah,
secret proposal, I will not give spoilers, but I wrote the secret proposal when I was
I
the
will mute
protagonist.
you if you do this. I have
I'm
moderator capabilities.
No, so the thing is, so secret proposal was, it was originally written at oh yeah, at another marketplace where you would write chapters every month. Sorry, every week.
Yes. Mm.
No spoilers, but it was also written with the same intention that I don't see myself represented, so I literally represented myself.
Self. Yes, exactly. Like her character wears salwar kameez, sari. Her character does pujo, right? These are
Yeah,
things like if you are somebody from Kolkata, you want your lived experience in a book for you to relate to a character. Like so many people were unable to relate to the two Indian girls in Harry Potter, right? Parvati and what was the other one's name?
Padma,
Okay,
Parvati and
yes.
Padma Patel.
Yeah. And they were so unrelatable because they were just there for color. है ना?
Nah, yeah,
So
they were just
that
props.
space, props also, it's prop is a compliment for what they were. So that space exists, right? Stop trying to write the stories you think will sell. Instead, write the stories you think you'd want to read. I think that's a great insight into fiction. Non-fiction may, of course, I think things are different, but for fiction, I think that's what it is. Write the stories you would have liked to read as a kid.
Yeah, in fact, I remember when I was writing my MPhil thesis, I was reading up a lot about the publishing structure and what what the whole Indian writing in English scenario is. And they said
Mm.
for the longest time, if you see the Indian writing in English, it was because the publishers were publishing them bahar ka. They would only think of India as the land of snake charmers and magic realism. Like हम लोगों का the lives that we live was not represented at all.
Yeah, and that is why when Salman Rushdie wrote Midnight's Children, right,
Right.
for the first time people were like, oh, ऐसे भी हो सकता है कि people have normal lives. Like normal in the sense of they also have mothers who feed hate into the food or aunties who are absolutely, I'm like, obviously, Indians are human beings only, right? So it's up to authors. Like the stories exist. Uh, why does it take an author to quit India? Like they leave, like they emigrate out of India and then they write these stories. You can write these stories within India also. The world has now become very big
Yes,
and has
absolutely.
compressed itself into like these amazing nifty little devices
Like
that you can leverage.
एक I wouldn't say criticism, but one feedback I had gotten once from one very snooty reader, I would say. Didn't like the person, not the point, but the person had told me that I don't understand why are all your stories set in Calcutta. I was like, because I am from Calcutta. I don't see this city represented. Even the Indian
Yeah.
fiction I have come across, everybody is either in Delhi or in Bombay. Bombay तो भर भर के stories है or
Mm.
Bangalore. I want
Yes,
my city to be represented. And if I go somewhere and I like the city a lot, I will write about it. Like I love
absolutely.
Pondicherry, I will someday write about it. But when you write about these real places, you also don't want to misrepresent them. So you have to do your research also very carefully.
Yeah. And that's why Salman Rushdie also wrote about Mumbai. Because before he left, he was living in Mumbai.
Yeah.
And so he said that to create the soundscape, to create the texture of getting people to visualize the story, he chose Bombay because that's what he knew. So, yeah,
And yeah.
this has spiraled out
Yeah.
as it always does. But I
But
hope
you
that,
know what? When you are writing your book, I would suggest this is something I have started doing. When you have
mm,
these inspired thoughts, make a note of it because later on these will all become content for marketing.
yeah, yeah, notes from the live as it was happening.
Like my first book that I ever wrote was written in this room.
Yeah. Oh, yes, you are at home right now. So, advice being a happy rat a tat. And this is an even better advice being a smarter donkey.
I think you should illustrate the one that we came up with today. Write
Which
the
one?
book that the book that you're somebody is looking for the book you're writing.
Okay, let me illustrate. Okay. Somebody is writing the book.
No, looking for the book you're writing.
Okay. See, even I forgot. This is why you take notes. And this is why you do lives
Take
when
a
you are not
lot of
working.
notes.
Yeah.
आई
Notes,
थिंक
notes.
रोशन का एक चैप्टर मेरा बस नोट्स ही है.
Array. My that chapter is called Dumpyard.
Ah,
It
you
is
showed
so
us.
it is so chaotic, and I have zero regrets because I think with note taking we have given a very aspirational view of what it should look like, and then it becomes very impractical, right? So, जो तुम्हारे साथ चलता है चलाओ. Anywho, are we missing on any details, Anisha?
Let me check my notes because
Please
I
do.
made a note of everything.
I was getting calls because people wanted to go eat ice cream. Like ice cream खाने के लिए कोई इतने सारे फोन थोड़ी करता है.
No, I think we have
It's
covered everything.
okay,
We have
great.
also issued the warnings that we thought we would issue, so we are good.
Yes, yes, yes. And like to reiterate, there you will find a lot of general advice on the internet, and most of this general advice exists because people want to sell their services. Okay, like this is something that I think everyone should be aware of at this point in time. So be a
Yeah.
conscious consumer and decide actively what advice works for you and your projects. Okay. Also, all right. Then please find Anisha on her website, anishabrahma.com. You can also find her on Facebook as Anisha Brahma author. On Instagram, let me just show you the Instagram too, which is Anisha Brahma, Anisha underscore Brahma. Find her on Twitter, which is Anisha underscore Brahma. And obviously, book her services on Topmates at Anisha underscore Brahma. There you go. Thank you so much for joining in, Anisha. I had so
Thank
much
you
fun.
for, yes, thank you for, we went live after a very long time.
Yes, no, we'll go live again. I no longer have hardware issues. I still have
And I'm at,
internet issues,
no, no, and
but
I'm at
internet
home
is
with stable Wi-Fi, so amazing. So we are,
yeah.
the next live is for the Notion thing or the news that almost broke
Yeah,
my heart.
and next live is probably with Riddhi Sharma, where we are going to be talking about networking
Oh,
and like not networking in the way of cold emailing and hassling people, like properly networking, where people actually refer you as a professional without you begging them. They do it on their own only.
yeah, I
So
think the zamana for aloo le lo, kanda le lo is gone.
everyone's tolerance has gone down because literally the first thing people send you after you connect with them is Mera services. I'm like, I don't give a shit. I provide the same services. Did you not see my profile?
I have gotten even worse DMs saying that I can make your life easy, give me all your work, we will take a
Oh
percentage. And I
my
was like,
God.
I,
I have also
I
gotten these kind of messages. Like I
maybe
have
we end the
literally
live
not
and talk about this.
literally people just assume that I'm going to outsource my work. Like then why am I freelancing? I would call myself an agency, no? I'm not calling myself agency. I'm calling myself freelancer क्योंकि मैं
Also, I
खुद
feel
का
like,
काम खुद करता है.
exactly. Also, I feel like people hire you because of you. Why would I?
Yeah.
To me, it felt a little bit like cheating, so I wouldn't do it.
So that is why I have called Riddhi on this live because Riddhi will not get distracted unlike me. I will go into like personal frustrations and Riddhi will be like Binati क्या कर रहे हो line पे आओ. So I was like, yes, she's the perfect person to like have the conversation and have it complete the way it was intended. So yeah, the next live will be with Riddhi. After that, we'll do the Notion, and after that, uh, personal session of Notion because a lot of people are like, we will be setting up our Notion with you, but we also need you to do it with us. So uske liye I think I'll have to do a personal session. Chalo, anyway, I will end the live now. Thank you so much for joining
Yes.
in. Thank you for coming, Anisha, and it was wonderful. Bye. Good night, everyone. I
I
think
hope.
there are two
Good
people who
night.
are watching. So, two people. Thank you.
Good night, people. Thank you for staying with us till the end and listening to
Yeah.
everything. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.